Happy Easter Sunday to all who celebrate it. It's a weekend of resurrection, but I don't think Chelsea are going to be resurrected anytime soon as a football club. This is my reaction. I don't even know if I can start calling it rational perspective anymore, because how can you be rational watching performances like that? Chelsea 2, Burnley 2, staggeringly incompetent, inept, embarrassing day for Chelsea once again, and it's hard to know where to begin with criticism and responsibility for that performance. Other than Cole Palmer doing what Cole Palmer has done for the majority of this season and provide an end product and quality to try and drag this team above and beyond the mid-table mediocrity that we're likely to end this season with. It was another day that kind of symbolized so many of the issues we've spoken about for the majority of this season. It was reminiscent of the Liverpool Cup final. It was reminiscent of the game against Spurs earlier in the year. It was reminiscent of the West Ham performance right at the start of the season, where Chelsea are handed a situation where they should probably go on and win the game, but this group of players don't have the experience, the mentality, the wherewithal, the intelligence, whatever you kind of attribute it to deal with those situations. There is no two ways about it. Not beating this Burnley team, 19th place, one of the worst defences in the league, one of the worst attacks in the league, down to 10 men, 1-0 up at half time. It's a staggering failure. And I think that we can talk about the mismanagement above Mauricio Pochettino and how absolutely that contributes to performances like yesterday. Of course, that's relevant. But I think it'd be insulting to fans to try and tell them that the coach had nothing to do with yesterday. Because from a coaching point of view, we've seen this over and over again, the lapses post half time. How are we conceding to a team that was taking attackers off because they were 1-0 down to 10 men? Because they didn't want to get hammered, but instantly it's 1-1. A goal from a set piece, once again late in the game, a free header. And all right, I know some people pointing out the lack of maybe physicality or aerial dominance within this team. But again, I sort of look at the coach and go, well, the idea that no one in our squad can head a ball out of danger is just farcical to me. And again, it insults my intelligence to think that as a coach, as a top-class coach, you can't figure out a way to make us better at set pieces. And I've always said this, right? It's either one of two things. Either the players are ignoring brilliant instructions from Pochettino, or the instructions being given are not good enough to fulfill what he wants to do. Neither of those scenarios look good on Mauricio Pochettino. Again, Chelsea are wasteful in front of goal. I think we accumulated as much XG as we did in the first half, I think, as Arsenal did against them recently, where they won 5-0. And of course, the fundamental difference between both clubs, as it is with Chelsea and a lot of top clubs at the moment, is the complete inability to finish. But, you know, Mauricio Pochettino spoke pre-game about how when you actually look at the data, Chelsea actually should be higher up in the table. Now, I don't fully disagree with that statement. If you look at the missed chances, if you look at how we have had some players who've been performing up top, like Cole Palmer, like Nicholas Jackson, who have been putting up numbers that are actually, in some ways, especially Palmer, significantly better to what players or in comparable positions have been doing in recent years. But, you know, spreadsheets don't tell you about intangible things, mentality, character, setbacks, adversity. And unfortunately, that's where Chelsea fall short, very short on a consistent number of occasions this year. And I think I was watching that game unfold, especially in the second half following Burnley equalising. And it was like, as I say, I'd be back at Wembley, but it was like watching the England-Iceland game. And in the years since that embarrassment for England at the Euros in 2016, a lot of the analysis post-game was about how the players at half-time realised, and as the game was going on, realised that they could actually lose this to a team that they should be beating based on the quality. And you could sense that fear within the players. You know, it's interesting to me over the past week or so since, you know, the CST statement and then the Fab statement that basically was telling fans to, you know, stop being inconvenient, stop being aggressive towards the club and support. Stamford Bridge was actually very positive yesterday. I was actually pleasantly surprised how positive and supportive it was of the players, given how pathetic that performance was at times. And it kind of shows you, right, like the club told us to shut up and support. We did shut up and support, but the players didn't produce the performance that was needed on a big day. Because it was a big day. It was a day where Chelsea had to put 3 points on the board to start this run in a real positive way. And the fact that they haven't really damages any sort of confidence and belief moving forward that Chelsea will be able to beat Man United, that Chelsea will be able to go on a run of victories, that Chelsea will be able in several weeks' time to put up a fight against Man City. But the bizarre thing about this team is I actually have more faith they will put up a fight against Man City because, in those type of games, Chelsea aren't expected to win psychologically. We have to perform to even be even footing with Man City. But in games where Chelsea actually have to be the protagonist, where we actually have to show a bit of dominance and maturity, that's where this team falls victim. And I think it's a mixture of things, as it always is. It's a mixture of, I think, a coach who isn't doing well with a squad that has been poorly built, with a squad that doesn't have a nice balance of experience and actual experience that provides on a regular basis. I do want to point out that Raheem Sterling does provide a brilliant assist to Cole Palmer. But then Raheem Sterling does what Raheem Sterling has been doing recently, is shortly after Burnley scored the second, he has a chance in front of goal. He has to be putting it in the back of the net and he misses, from a couple yards out. And again, that's where I think that a player like Raheem Sterling should be doing a lot better, right? I don't think I can just, deny that moment happened. But also you can't deny that he did provide something that should have been a match-winning moment. But, you look at the lack of game intelligence in this group, that not only did they concede once to 10 men near the relegation zone, probably going back down to the Championship, we scored the second and you think, okay, this should be game over. Like now, like all half, we've had the ball, we've been, pushing them back. Cole Palmer himself gives away a stupid foul that allows them a set piece that then leads to the corner, that then leads to the equaliser. And even after that equaliser, Burnley looked and had the better chances. James Rodriguez comes off the bench and has a free header again from a set piece that hits the bar and he misses the rebound. Burnley could have won that game. That's how farcical the situation is. And you are left once again with a situation looking at this team going, I don't know really where to start. I don't know really who I'm blaming most. Some people will squarely look at the head coach, which I think is absolutely fair based on the level of opposition. But then also you look at the collective again really failing in such a big way. And I've had conversations with people that the issue with this group and how fans feel about it is Chelsea don't just come short. They fail. They find very inventive ways to fail and quite embarrassing ways to fail. That leaves you as a fan feeling very, very bad about the club. So it's not that Chelsea had bundles and bundles and bundles of opportunities in that second half and the keeper had one of the best days of his life. It's Chelsea completely mismanaging a situation, and it makes you as a fan lose a lot of trust and faith in the coach, in the players, that they will excel for the rest of the season. Because if you have these lapses, if you have just very basic ways of failing against opponents that you should be burying, you can put all the poor signings, whatever, we should be beating Burnley at home. I'm sorry, I'm not having the gaslighting that it was just, inevitable that Chelsea had to fail against a 10-man Burnley. I mean, you were just insulting the intelligence of every Chelsea fan if you tell us we should accept that. That's complete mismanagement on every single level. So I think we have to realise that, yeah, sure, the group isn't as good as maybe some of us would like it to be. But that doesn't mean for the rest of the season the team has to throw the towel in. But I think, Pochettino as a coach could have no complaints if he's replaced in the summer, is what I'm saying when we see performances and results like that. That doesn't mean all of the responsibilities on him, but a lot of it has to at some point. Coaching has to matter, tactics have to matter. The ability to set up a group that doesn't fail in similar ways every single week. At some point, you have to look at the coach and go, well, what is going on the training pitch? So those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below.